What is your 5-year-old son curiosity crouch?
Okay. That reminds me of a story.
Repeat the question, Dave.
I said, what was this 5-year-old son's curiosity crouch?
I'll tell you a couple of technology stories, but they're Daaron stories, and they'll address this, okay? And I was going to tell this later, but seeing you prompted it, we'll do it now. And this is the beginning of this piece from here to implicity that you're referring to. I've been on this learning thing ever since my son was born. And while we learn together, we never talk about learning per se. We never objectify it as some conversation piece. We're just doing it. So I don't talk to him about the technology. I don't explain to him how anything works or any of that kind of stuff. We just do things together. And our most precious time is just walk and talk. Or we go out for a walk, preferably in the evening, because like the world's quieted down. He's not quite as hyper. And it's hard to describe, except we just fall into this sync, and then all of a sudden we're there. Actually, he's never not there. He's always there. And I go off and be an adult and stuff and get all congested up, and then I go for a walk with him, and I drop back into being with him, and he says, "Where have you been?" Right? And, I mean, this is true. I mean, he does that. It's awesome. One night we were going out for a walk, and he said, "Daddy, I'd like to bring this new invention that I designed out for a walk." And he had this in his hand. And he was maybe 4, 5 at the time. I said, "Okay." I mean, normally we didn't bring things out for a walk because it's not about going out and playing with things. It's about going out and being together, and we talk, and it's just the most marvelous time of my life. But he was on about this, and so I could sense that, so I said, "Sure." We went out for a walk, and about 15 minutes later, I'd forgotten that he even got the thing. Kind of carried it like a sword. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought maybe it's some kind of jet airplane, or a Ghostbuster meter for slime, or I didn't know what it was, really. And this comes to the point. Now, when I learned what it was, is that he was walking, and we came underneath this street lamp, and there was this bug walking on the sidewalk, and he did like Sherlock Holmes does with a magnifying glass, right? He did with this, and this is what I referred to as his curiosity card. He goes down like this, and he's sitting with this thing like this, looking at this bug. And he does that all the time. I mean, I got pictures of him. That's the way he goes into nature. He just goes into this crouch, and so his curiosity is full on. But then he started to pretend that this thing was some kind of multimedia magnifying glass, I guess is the best way to put it. And he started making these sounds, and he said, "Hey, Dad, look at this." And they started seeing the inside anatomy of this roly-poly bug. Right? And he described this as a radar helper, which I thought was an ingenious name. Radar helper, in that it bounced this beam, went into this, whatever it was he was looking at, and it echoed back, and it helped him learn about whatever it was he wanted to learn about. He was a 5-year-old, and he conceived of this. And he went and said, "Dad, it not only works there, it works on stars."
Or telephone poles.
Or telephone poles. Right? It was really stunning to me, because this was the spirit of what I'm working on over here, right? And we'd never had an explicit conversation about what it is I'm doing. So when he popped up with this, I mean, it took me days to really internalize the significance of, and him and I are connected in that way, which is really beautiful. But that's his curiosity crouch, and that's one piece of technology, and I was going to talk about this later, but in saying something about it now, let me say this, that the fact that a 5-year-old can invent something like this conceptually, they have the idea of it, that want to have that kind of contact, that want to have that kind of an extended sense. It isn't technology to a 5-year-old. It's just it's imagination. It's another sense to be in contact with, right? But I mean, I believe every 5-year-old around is craving this. Not the technology, the idea of not being so bottled up, of being able to follow through with their learning needs and their meaning needs and extend themselves the way that they have in all the rest of how they are. Right? So when they see things out for a walk at night or during the day, to be able to follow through with their curiosities, to be able to follow through with what's meaningful for them, right? That's what they're craving. I mean, they're craving it deeply. And this is what one 5-year-old did to kind of tell me that, to help me learn that.